Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today I'm asking the very serious question, are you being too nice as you go through life? Because the fact is, for us chaps, being nice is considered to be quite a positive trait. We all want to be thought of as a nice chap, don't we? It's kind of, that underlying thing that we all strive to be considered by other people. But actually, being too nice and pushing those boundaries too far can actually lead to you being taken advantage of, being overlooked by other people, or not being taken seriously for the skills and qualities that you possess. Because if you're too nice, people won't see them. So today I'm going to give you some of the strategies which I have learned to employ to make sure that I'm a nice guy. Of course I am, but nobody takes advantage of me and I can still go about my life respectfully without people thinking he's just a little bit too nice. Now your journey to not being too nice in life begins with understanding your boundaries and enforcing them with other people. Because I think it's crucial that we take time to reflect on things that make us unhappy and that we don't find acceptable as we encounter other people. Now that may be in your private life, it might be in a work situation, it might be even in your relationships. It could be related to the way that you're spoken to by other people without good manners, or the way that you're treated, or the service that you will receive. I think when you set those boundaries, it's a lot easier for you to feel more comfortable when you feel that somebody's overstepped, that you can deal with that situation, that you're just not being too nice all the time. Now, once you've set those boundaries, your next step is to communicate them clearly to other people. Using assertive language, yes, but still always remaining respectful. So people understand where you're coming from, that you've drawn a line in the sand and you're not prepared to step over it. An example might be perhaps when you're in work. Your boss might say, I need you to stay 2 hours extra today to deal with a situation. That might not fit in with your lifestyle. You might have got something important planned. Now, somebody who's too nice would say, yeah, no problem, boss. I'll just ring up and cancel whatever arrangements I had. That's not your problem, right? Somebody else has made a failure in planning and you're being asked to deal with their issue with your time. Somebody who is not being too nice would use assertive language by being respectful and saying, look, I'm sorry, boss, but that doesn't fit in with plans which I have had for quite some time. I am unable to change my plans tonight, but I'll try and help out tomorrow if that's possible. Assertive, respectful, explaining why you can't do it, but very clearly saying it's not possible for me to do that today. Now, once you've set those boundaries, communicated them clearly, your final step is stick to your guns, even when you're being pressured. So when the boss says to you, I insist you have to stay 2 hours late tonight, you've got to stick to those guns and say, no, I can't. This is my own time. I have plans that I cannot change. As I've said, I'm happy to help tomorrow, but I can't do it tonight. By sticking to your guns, it shows that you respect yourself and your own time, and that you expect respect from other people too. And once you lay down those foundations of your boundaries, it'll be a lot easier for people to understand where you're coming from and that you are not too nice. Now, my next step for you is quite simply learn to say no. Because one of the classic hallmarks of somebody who's too nice is the inability to say no to other people when they ask you for something or ask for your time. And this can cause to you overcommitting yourself, feeling emotionally drained and being constantly taken advantage of by other people. It is entirely possible to say no respectfully and politely. And that way you can take back control of your time quite easily. Now, What I would say is be direct and be polite when you say no to somebody. Don't keep the conversation going on and somebody is, almost expectant of you to say yes at the end of it. As early as you can in a conversation where somebody is asking you to overcommit yourself, be sure to say no clearly and assertively. Along the lines of, your boss is saying to you, I want you to take on an extra project on top of the work that you've already got piled on. I think a polite and respectful way of dealing with that would be, listen, thanks very much for thinking about me. Thank you incredibly for considering developing my career in this path. But the reality is, I'm already at the point of being overwhelmed and I can't take any additional work on. If you want me to take on this extra project, what do you want me to stop doing to allow me to do that? I think that's respectful, it's reasonable, and actually you're doing the next step really, which is about offering an alternative. Because when you say no to somebody, their initial instinct is not to be happy. They want you to do something and you've said no. And I've often found in life that when you turn something down, if you can bring a solution to their problem, they're going to be much happier about you saying no. So if you along the lines of our project scenario, you say, look, I know, Charlie in the next cubicle, he's actually just finished a major project. He was going to start helping me on my workload, so he's obviously got a bit of capacity. Why don't you talk to Charlie? Or something along those lines. Or, I'm going to free up some space in my calendar, maybe next week after I finish this big project I'm working on. In a week's time, I'm going to have some time available to help you with that, but right now, it's beyond my ability. So what you've done is said no, but offered solutions. It gives the person asking an opportunity to look elsewhere, and they don't feel negative towards you about saying no. Now, on your journey to not being too nice in life, one of the skills you're going to have to master is assertive communication skills. Now, assertive communication is quite simply expressing your requirements politely but firmly to somebody else. That's all assertive means. It doesn't mean shouting. It doesn't mean wagging your finger. It's just putting your point across clearly and firmly to somebody else so there's no misunderstanding or ambiguity. They get what you're saying quite clearly. There's nothing wrong with being assertive. And one of the ways you can do that is by using I a lot in these conversations. So, say, again, the boss comes up to you, wants you to do something you can't or don't want to do. So the way you phrase it is, that is too much for me. I can't take that on. I am overwhelmed. I've got so much on at the moment, I can't deal with it. It's very different because you're putting the focus on you. The alternative, and a lot of people do this, and it gets the other person's back up, is by saying, look, you are dumping too much work on me. You are not sharing the work out fairly. You are not considering my needs. You're putting all the onus on that person. It's all about you. And you are suggesting that there is failure in their activities as a manager, as a leader. If you use the word you, it's your problem, not mine. If you make it about you and you say, I can't possibly do this. My diary is absolutely stacked. You are making it clear, this is about me. I can't deal with it. It's not about you. And people often feel a little bit more happier when you are taking the weight of this issue. Now, when we're having this assertive conversation with this person, one of the things we absolutely need to do is make strong eye contact with them. Human beings put a lot of stock in eye contact. We don't feel we can trust people who can't meet our glance and are looking down or not making eye contact with us. If you look somebody in the eye when you're talking to them, they will take you seriously. They will have respect for you. Hold their glare and they will understand this is something I'm serious about. Now, when we're having this conversation, we need to be clear and concise. Let's be honest. There's no reason for us to have long-winded, multi-chapter apologies to this person that we can't do this task that they're asking us to. We've said no. We've said it clearly. We've made eye contact with them. They know that we can't do it. Let's keep it at that. There's no reason to say that I can't do it because my cat's going to vet and my uncle's got to come to look after them and this, that, the other. Let's just say, no, I'm sorry, I've got too much work on. Leave it at that. If they want to ask any further questions, deal with it. But there's no reason to prostrate yourself and lay out your life story to them as a reason why you can't help them. That is another sign of being too nice. Now, the next thing you need to do is to recognize and address your people-pleasing tendencies. Because being a people pleaser is one of the main reasons why people end up being perceived as being just a little bit too nice. Now, you may be a natural people pleaser. Many of us are. We just like to make other people happy. And if that is you, you can recognize it and take steps to address it. Now, one of the steps you can take is to reflect on what are your motivations for being that people pleaser that you are. Is it that you just want to be perceived positively by the people who encounter you? Is it more than that? Is it an underlying feeling that you don't want to be rejected, that you want people to think well of you? But whatever it may be, if you can identify it, it helps in mitigating it. I want you on this journey to practice self-care, because you need to put your needs and your well-being in front of everything else. You don't put your requirements behind other people when they're asking you constantly to do things. That is really being too nice and being a total people pleaser. You need to do the things that you need to do first, and then you help other people after, when you've got spare time to do that. And if you're unsure if you are a people pleaser, seek some feedback. Ask people you know really well. Maybe you've got a mentor that you can go to, a peer colleague who perhaps sees you from a distance and can give you some critical observations about perhaps how people take advantage of you. And when they give you that extremely valuable advice, use it. Don't waste it. Make sure that you use the information that you're able to get to temper your people-pleasing tendencies, and make sure that people don't think that you are too nice for your own good. Now, my final tip for you today is to be honest and authentic, because believe it or not, being too nice in life can actually lead to you being a little bit dishonest. And that's because you will not tell people the truth. You will not express your true feelings because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to make them sad or unhappy. So you will lie to them to keep them happy. The goal here is to strive for honesty and authenticity as we go forward. Be prepared to share your thoughts and true feelings, even if you know or you think it's likely that it's going to upset somebody else. Believe me, it's a lot better to get the truth out there than to harbour resentment over a long period of time, which is just simmering away in your guts. And avoid over apologising for things. You know, you should never apologise for having your own thoughts and your own opinions on situations. I really hate to hear people in a conversation saying, well, I'm sorry, but I disagree. There's no reason to be sorry, because you've got your own thoughts and opinions. Constantly apologising for your views is a good sign that you are maybe somebody who's just a little bit too nice in life. So there we go, folks. Really, the art of balancing assertiveness and kindness is what we are seeking to do here. We're not being too nice, we're not being aggressive. We want to be somewhere in the middle. And we want to make sure that the people that we encounter regularly in life understand the boundaries that we throw out there. Because if they step over the boundary, well, we tell them so, and we put them back on the side that we need them to be. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to stand up for yourself in life. Otherwise, you're going to be the doormat for every assertive person that you meet in life. And that's the last thing we want to be. A gentleman is never a doormat for anybody, but it's a balancing act. And it's something that we're always learning to balance as we grow and become more mature and learn certain things about ourselves in life. So there we go. I hope that was helpful for you, maybe on your journey to not being too nice in life. If you've enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe for more, leave me a comment, drop me a question by email, or just put it into the comment section. You can support the channel by buying me a coffee or even becoming a patron. I make extra videos for my patrons because they are close personal friends. So, until the next time, don't be too nice now, you know what to do, and I'll see you again very soon.